So I really don't know what to record now, so I came up with this amazing idea that I'm gonna basically describe some of the cars, well basically all the cars that I delivered pizzas in for the past 6 months. And it's hilarious because like some of the cars are such shit boxes that I'm actually kind of happy that I had the privilege to drive them, because now I can, you know, just sit in my car and just be happy that it's not a fucking Renault Kangoo from 2005 that has fucking spiders in it, but we'll get to that. So basically during that time I work at 2 different pizza places, one in Novo Mesto and one in Trebnja. And I drove 6 different cars. I also delivered some, you know, made some deliveries in my Tiburon, but yeah, that car would easily be number 1 on this list because at least it was safe. So basically I'm gonna rank these cars in order that I would prefer to drive them daily, which, yeah, let's start off with number 6, the Twingo, the fucking Renault Twingo from like 2001 or whatever it was. It was pretty much the most eye-grabbing car in the whole city of Novo Mesto at the time, and it's not even a city, but you know, whatever. And it had like these stickers on it that were like falling apart. It was missing like 3 hubcaps. It didn't even have ABS, so basically, you know, Novo Mesto has some narrow streets, so I was like, you know, trying to pull the fucking thing, and it was a pain in the ass. Also, the pizza oven in that car was like, you know, fucking half the size of a normal pizza oven, so it was quite a quirky little car, but it actually wasn't the slowest car that we're gonna be discussing today, so that's kind of alarming. How do you honk in a Twingo? I have no idea. I mean, obviously, like, this steering wheel does not look like a steering wheel you would like to press, because it might explode at you at any given moment. Plus, I don't really think I would like to, you know, press a horn in a Twingo, just because everyone would be looking at you and then associating you with that shitbox, really, not... and it would still be better than the next car that we have, which is the car that we are currently having at my second pizza place, and it's a 2005 Renault Kangoo, and it's been sitting for half a year, and after one of the other delivery cars got totaled, the boss was like, okay, so there's like this shitbox sitting here, so you know what, you're gonna fucking drive it. So now we deliver pizzas in a Kangoo, which you might think is awesome because it has a lot of space for pizzas, but then on the other hand, like, how many fucking, you know, pizzas do you need to deliver at once to make this a viable solution? The answer is no, just... I don't like that car. Like, the visibility is so awful, and at least in the Twingo, you know, it was okay, because the visibility, you could literally see anything. Granted, you know, if you saw a car fucking coming at you at like 50 kilometers an hour, you would be that in a Twingo, but still, you know, you would probably be in the Kangoo as well, because it's rusted to shit, like, holy crap. Have you guys seen, like, that thing has more pimples than I had in fucking 2nd grade or something, of middle school, of course, but, you know, back when I was, like that. So basically, what made the Kangoo even more of a disappointment is the fact that after the Fiesta got smashed, which actually wasn't the delivery driver's fault, someone had cut him off, and yeah, it was... I wasn't the one driving, thankfully, and they were all okay, but the car was gone. So basically, there were rumors spreading that we're gonna get a new car, and I was like, holy shit, we might get a Volkswagen Polo, or an Up, or, you know, some that might potentially have an aux cable like the Fiesta had, and then we got this, and, you know, I was just like stuck hoping that it would have ABS, which it did, but, you know, on like the first day that I was using this car, I basically reached into the door panel to grab the work wallet, and when I, you know, pulled it out, there was like a huge fucking spider on my hand, so yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, this car is a biohazard. Actually, it's surprisingly not reliable. I think we had it for about a month now, probably a few days over a month, and it's been in the service bay 3 times. One time because one of my fellow co-workers actually put petrol in it, and it's a diesel, so yeah. At least it's a diesel, because at number 4 we have the car that I probably delivered the most food in, and it's a Clio. It's a 1.2 Clio, so it has around 60 horsepower, and it feels like it has around, I don't know, 12. It really was, by a huge margin, like probably objectively the worst car that I've ever driven. It was still better than the Twingo because it had ABS, but you know, the rear windows would not cut out, and yeah. Considering that I was, you know, driving a Tiburon for, well, over half a year before I actually drove the Clio, I was actually terrible at driving that car. Like, holy shit! Even though the clutch was new in the one that I was driving, I still stalled that thing so many times. I am not a very good driver. At least I wasn't, you know, back when I was driving that thing. And even after that, after like 2 weeks of me driving the Clio, I was like, you know what? I've learned this thing. I'm gonna drive this bitch. So I did, and I almost fucking smashed into the fucking, you know, telephone pole. So it was so close. Like, I did not realize how bad the tires were, and I just wanted to be like cool and have, you know, fun on the job, which you really shouldn't do. I mean, you can have fun, just, you know, don't try and, you know, play with your destiny, because I was like fucking 10 centimeters away from, you know, getting fired, running one of the 3 delivery cars, and probably crippling debt, so yeah. Anyway, what happened is, I was going down a corner and the road was wet, so basically I turned like one way, and it went the other way, and it started not spinning, but like sliding, so I tried to correct it, and I threw it over the curb and missed that pole by not a lot, so... I learned my lessons, so now I only drift not on purpose, because like the tires on some of the cars that we will be following are crap. But I forgot to mention how terrible the engine was in the Clio. So like I said, it was slow. And by that I mean like you had to fucking go up to 5000 RPM, and when it did that you still went up to the speed limit, you would, you know, hold the gas for a bit longer, so then basically after like 8 seconds or whatever, you finally got up to 50 kilometers per hour, and holy crap, that car, I don't know, didn't like it that much. Now at number 3 we have the car which we were delivering in, basically the last time I was working, so today I'm basically gonna, I got working like 2 hours, so basically I'll go and see if there's the Kangoo there, in which I'll be delivering, in which case I'll be super embarrassed, or we're gonna have the Skoda Fabia, which I'm gonna die in, because the tires on that thing are pretty bad. So basically, this is the second loaner car. The first one we got after the Fiesta basically, you know, got crashed. We got the other car and the tires were bad, and I was hoping that, you know, on the Fabia, which is, we got it from the same place as the other car, which I'll be mentioning later on, the tires are just as bad. Like, I was fucking sliding that thing, unintentionally of course, basically 2 hours after I got it. So it's a Skoda Fabia diesel, obviously, you know, basic engine, doesn't go anywhere, but at least it's clean, and I really appreciated that, because like some of the cars, well, most of the cars that I'm talking about here were filthy, and this thing was so clean, and it was, you know, semi, I guess, modern even, didn't have an aux cable or anything like that, but at least, you know, it felt like we somehow entered in the 21st century, so it was kind of nice for that time, but like really not much has happened with that car. It's not terrible, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think it's still an okay car. However, I do realize now why like all these Fabias are like fucking, you know, driving 60 and 90 all the time, because it just like, it doesn't want to go faster than that. So at number 2 we have the Fiesta that we mentioned, and basically this is what happened to it. So basically, when I first got started in the second pizza place, they had this car, and it was filthy, but you know, it had an aux cable, which is a fucking luxury. No other car on this list had it. So yeah, really not much to say about this one. However, I don't know, I lost a pair of gloves in it. I don't know where they went. Maybe they were eaten by the rats in the car or something. But like a couple of weeks after the crash, me and my dad were like looking for some cars at a car dealer, and we just like noticed that tiny little Fiesta, just like, you know, that had finally met its destiny. It was kind of a sad moment because you know, it was an okay car, probably deserved better in terms of service and all that. Like, fun fact, like 3 days prior to the crash, the boss finally put some new tires on the car, and you know, it was sadly not meant to be. So then we got stuck with the Kangoo, and then it broke down. We got the Fabia. So my number one car, the Kia Cee'd, it was a loaner car after the Fiesta got totaled, and here's like what happened. So basically I got off to work, you know, like 10 minutes before the delivery started, and I was like, wait, where the fuck's the Fiesta? So I call up the boss, he doesn't answer. I'm calling up the boss's son, he's like, oh yeah, that thing's totaled. So I'm like, what do I deliver? And he was like, oh, the boss is gonna, you know, bring something. And he pulls up in this black Kia Cee'd, which already had some rust on it, but you know, whatever. Still, it was so clean. Like, I actually loved that car very much. That was before I learned how bad the tires were. But it actually pulled, like, you know, it had 100 horsepower, which is not much at all, but it felt like a rocket compared to basically any other car on this list, which is the reason why it's number one. Here's a fun thing, I actually almost totaled this car 2 times in 2 days. One time I was passing a Golf because he was going 30 in a 50 you know, kilometer zone, and like, the fucker basically went onto my lane and forced me onto the sidewalk, and I was like, why? Like, why would anyone do that? Like, holy shit. I didn't confront him because I would get my ass kicked, so I just, you know, kept going, but still, like, you get some crazy ass people over here in Slovenia. And yeah, the other day I was actually driving on a road which I never driven before, and I was going 60 kilometers per hour in a 90, and basically I did a turn and I was going fucking sideways, and I drifted that car, not drifted, just like slid it out of control for like fucking 10 meters before finally, you know, somehow controlling the beast and stopping in the middle of the road, like confused as to what the fuck did I even do because I was going so slow. But yeah, just made a call to my boss, and he was like, okay, you know what, it's time to go. So then we got the Kangoo, which at least has good tires on it, which is weird, but holy crap. And I guess the reason why this car is number one is just because it reminded me of my Tibi, which, I get it, my obsession for my car is not fucking justified at all, but I love my car. So, you know, this was basically like from the same country, same time period, maybe a year or two newer. So I just, you know, accepted it, liked it, and now apparently when I went to pick up the Kia, I thought it was the Kia, we got a Fabia, so this thing's probably total now. I would assume anyway, with the tires that were on that car, like Jesus Christ. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. My name's Jerry, and I'll see you in the next episode of my channel's Dad. Goodbye!